Okay, let's talk about FU money. And no, we're not just talking about some number on a spreadsheet. We're talking about a feeling. That deep down power to walk away from a job you hate, a terrible boss, or really any situation that just isn't right for you. It's true financial freedom. And today, we're going to break down the exact formula to get it. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That pit in your stomach on a Sunday night, the one that tells you the weekend's over and the grind is about to start all over again. Well, that feeling, that's the sound of being financially dependent. It's the feeling of being trapped. And that's the exact problem we're here to solve today. And here's the big secret, the thing most people miss. Getting this kind of freedom, it's not about luck. It's not about hoping you win the lottery. It's just a math problem. Seriously. And like any math problem, once you have the formula, you can solve it. And guess what? We've got the formula right here for you. All right, first things first. We need a target. A single, clear number that's going to be your finish line. We call it your freedom number, and you'll be surprised at how simple it is to figure out. Okay, so here's how you do it. Just 3 simple steps. First, you need to figure out your true annual expenses. Housing, food, the usual stuff. But then, and this is my favorite part, you get to subtract all the costs that only exist because of your job. Think about it. The gas for your commute, your work clothes, all those overpriced lunches you buy because you're in a rush. Poof, they're gone. What you're left with is your actual cost of living. And then you just take that number and multiply it by 25. So why 25? What's the magic behind that number? Well, it all comes down to a super well-researched financial idea called the 4% rule. Basically, tons of data shows that if you only pull out 4% of your invested money each year, your portfolio has a really, really high chance of lasting for 30 years or even longer. It means your money is finally working for you instead of the other way around. Multiplying by 25 is just the 4% rule in reverse. It's the math that makes this whole thing work. Okay, let's put some real numbers on this. Let's say after you've cut out all those work-related costs, you figure out you can live a great life on just $40,000 a year. That's your new target income. So we take that number and we multiply it by 25. And boom, your freedom number is $1 million. And just like that, what might have seemed like a totally impossible goal is now a real, concrete target. That's the amount you need working for you to spit out $40,000 a year, pretty much forever, without you having to lift a finger. Okay, so now you have your number, $1 million. But how in the world do you get there without it taking like 40 years? Well, this is where it gets really exciting. This is the shortcut, the single most powerful lever you can pull to totally collapse that timer. And here's the mindset shift that changes everything. We're always taught to focus on earning more, right? Get a raise, find a higher paying job. But the real secret, the key to doing this fast, isn't about how much you earn. It's all about how much you keep. It's about that gap between what comes in and what goes out. Your savings rate is everything. Just look at this. This chart tells the whole story. If you save a pretty standard 15% of your income, you're looking at a 43-year career. Ouch. But what happens if you crank that up to a 50% savings rate? You literally cut the time to just 17 years. And if you go totally hardcore and save 75%, you're free. You are financially independent in just 7 years. It's not a straight line, it's exponential. This is how you win the game in record time. So let's be super clear here. The old way of thinking, the earn more path, that's the slow, traditional 40-year slog to retirement. The new mindset, the one that gets you to freedom on the fast track, is all about keep more. Every single dollar you decide not to spend is another soldier in your army, working 24/7 to get you to that finish line. All right, so once you've dialed in your savings rate, there are a couple of, let's call them pro-level moves you can make to get an even bigger edge. These are the accelerators, a couple of tips to shave even more years off your journey. Okay, accelerator number 1 is what I like to call the double dip investment. This is where you find an asset that does 2 jobs for you at the same time. The classic example, rental real estate. Think about it. The property itself is hopefully going up in value over time. That's job number 1. But it's also bringing in monthly rent checks. That's job number 2. That passive income can start covering your living expenses, which means you can leave your main investment portfolio alone to grow even faster. Accelerator number 2 is all about being smart and flexible once you're actually living off your money. Instead of just pulling out a strict 4% every single year, no matter what, you use something called a dynamic drawdown. It's simple, really. In years when the stock market is crushing it, maybe you take out a little more, say 5%, and live it up. But when the market takes a dive, you tighten your belt and maybe only take out 3%. This flexibility acts like a shock absorber for your portfolio, protecting it during the bad years, and it can mean you can actually retire safely with less money saved up. So, let's pull this all together. That feeling of being able to walk away, to live your life completely on your own terms, it is not some fantasy. It's not a dream. It's a math problem. And you now have the formula to solve it. You know how to find your number, you know the shortcut to get there fast, and you even have a couple of pro tips to accelerate the whole thing. The power is completely in your hands now, but it all starts with that very first step in the formula. So, the only real question left is this. Have you done the math? Do you know your true annual expenses yet?